So we're really pleased to see you all here today. Thank you for coming. Some have come from very far away.
These types of events are very, very important for us to see how we can shape and focus our business in the future. And in particular, we need to make sure that we're getting ideas from everywhere, because there's no idea that isn't a good idea.
We're hugely grateful for Kraft being foolish enough. They've no idea what's coming today. You know, this is it's going to be one of those massive pieces of regret. I mean, you think, what the hell did we let ourselves in for?
Once you start to see human beings this way, you don't stop. Once you start to read the science around this area, you don't stop. And it becomes quite hard to imagine yourself back into seeing human beings as individuals who shape their own lives.
The spirit of constraint is the mother of invention, and maybe one of the things you should do is, what happens if you cut your budget by 1/10, or down to 1/10? What would you do then? Because it might just force the right sort of thinking and behaviour.
We've probably all travelled through airports and noticed SAP advertising their enterprise systems by saying of all these big companies who use SAP. Yeah. These companies are really smart. They use SAP. So if you're the lucky person who has to go in front of the executive committee to justify tens of millions of dollars of investment, part of your justification can be, look at all of these smart companies that use it already.
I find elevator situations fascinating because it's a very uncomfortable situation. You're closer to people than you really want to be. So people, do this. They check their email. Elevator. How long is an elevator ride? 5 seconds? I don't know, 10 seconds. How much can they actually get done? But they get their Blackberries out, their iPhones, and they check their email. And I think, Jonathan, you were saying it's almost, we're wondering why. It's almost to transport yourself into a more comfortable situation.
Yeah. But you can learn an awful lot very quickly from asking that arm's length question about what you've noticed other people do.
But it was very interesting. We have these 5 people looking at Philips from the outside and judging about Philips and what other people think about Philips. And without, disclosing company secrets here, I can just tell that what they told us is absolutely matching what probably very expensive market research has just recently shown.
Yep.
Hands up who keeps their inbox at 0 at the end of the day. There's always one. I think it's a myth. So I have a very different way of using email, and I let a lot of it flow. Yeah. It's a good point. Do you delete or do you archive, or do you just send it to a friend and say, can you read all this lot for me and find anything interesting?
This is a towel rail in a toilet, and someone has hung a newspaper on that. Now, that was never meant to be a newspaper rack whatsoever. It was meant to be a towel rack. But because we're creative, because we use things in rather unpredictable ways, it acts as a piece of inspiration for us.
Print isn't dead, TV's not dead, magazines aren't dead, so video didn't kill the radio star, but it has changed some certain fundamentals about the way in which content producers work.
We need to prepare ourselves for handling non-control communication. It's good to get into that, to live it a little bit. And we will get a lot of benefits from that, and it's not only one channel. Everything that we are doing in other channels can be leveraged in social media.
My concern is that every time I go on the internet, it's like opening a Pandora's box of all this stuff, and then I spend a lot of time there, and I'm nowhere further than I was when I started. So getting the filter factors right would be very ideal for me personally, and probably for work.
I'm really inspired by all the great examples that I've seen here. Just one thing, tomorrow I go back to my computer and that's...
So that's your wish. I'd love one thing that I could do tomorrow or the day after.
I would wish that on the one side our top management gets the opportunity to have several days like that as well. So to change their habits, their behavior or their mind, whatever, but change. I think this is something would be really inspiring our marketeers to take the courage to get into those things. And this is something which I would love to support over the next years.
We had an interesting discussion which actually goes a bit against what was presented today, and we said our wish is maybe, my wish, that people meet in real more often, not only online.
These are my lessons from today. Let go, Get stuck in, love people power, be useful, playful, social.